Where to begin? Hi. This is sort of the intro, I guess, to what I plan on making a podcast series of sorts. I think by the channel name I've chosen, it might be pretty evident what the topics or theme of this whole thing might be. But if it's not, I guess this first episode is going to serve as kind of an intro. Really what my goal is here is just to kind of maybe give myself a place to speak out. I've got a lot of thoughts and emotions that I just sort of hold on to, and I vent to friends, I vent to family, but they just feel like they build up a lot. Where I'm coming from with all this is I've got a lot of disdain and maybe a lot of hopelessness building up, especially over this past year. There's been a lot of current events. COVID-19, coronavirus, news of the environment, weather events are getting worse, as was predicted 50 years ago. Political tension. It's a joke that I make, but I'm not really joking. I honestly believe that we could see, aside from the war in the Middle East, a full-on global conflict in our lifetime. I've joked of the idea that maybe one of these days soon I'm just going to get called in as an able-bodied soldier. And, back similarly to what happened in the Second World War. And I really don't think that that's outside the realm of possibility, given how a lot of things are going lately. So things I might talk about are exactly that, and really just the fact that I'm running out of hope. I'm running out of optimism for the human race. I'm running out of positivity, and I just see liars and fakes in charge of mostly everything, running corporations, running governments, people with their own agendas, and it's not the right agenda. I'm someone who has been a part of environmental groups whose goal was at least to start at a local level, and have watched nothing happen. Have watched local government stonewall us on topics that, just are, for some reason, caring about the environment is just so taboo. And doing anything because it's too expensive now, despite the benefit in the long run, is just so guarded against when it comes to changing old ways. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. Now, I'm not here trying to convince anyone to give up. I'm not here trying to accelerate what I feel is the slow, grueling end of, almost everything. It's not even a societal collapse, but like a collapse of the global environment, not the economy, which so many people seem to care about. It's so much more important than all the people that are needed to keep it alive. But the planet. And the planet just running away into ruin. The doomsday clock is pointing at 100 seconds to midnight. We're closer than we've ever been before for so many reasons. Not just environmental pollution and climate change, global warming, whatever you want to call it, but because we have the celebrity leaders being elected into office and they're allowed free reign of just dismantling any kind of sane operation of government, of society. We have dictators in charge, starving their population. We have dictators in charge manipulating other countries in attempts to tear them down, to put themselves on top. And it's all bleak. I find it all very bleak. I don't like where things are headed. I wish it could change, but I also feel like I'm just so powerless and that things aren't going to happen. Or at the very least, they're not going to happen fast enough. Because we've been on this path for so long and people are afraid to step off of it for some reason. We've had predictions and data and calculations and analysis that have been going on for years, that have been giving us the warning signs. And with social media, people have been more vocal than ever and more passionate than ever, but it just feels like we're all yelling into a void and that nothing's actually being done. We have so many calls to action, but no actual action to back up what we want to happen. And so for me, it just feels futile. And it feels like the only thing I can do is just enjoy everything while it lasts. Enjoy what I have and build up my life comfortably. And just hold on to it as long as I have it, because it'll all go away. Things are going to change so drastically in the next few decades. If nothing is done. And yeah. But maybe to give some more context, we'll start with the first topic I'd like to talk about, which is climate change, the environment, things such as this. So, as a millennial, as a child growing up, mostly in the early 2000s, but I do have some memories of the late 90s. A lot of calls to action, a lot of things that I grew up seeing was, recycling, home recycling, do your part, sort your stuff. And I was the kid that wanted to take that on for my household. And I took that on for my household because I wanted to do it right and I wanted to do good. And I did that for many years. But as I've gotten older, I realized that home recycling is not only is it not the path to turning things around, which feeds into the fact that I feel like I've been lied to most of my life about how I can affect change in a positive way for the environment. But I just feel like I'm one of the few people who actually gave a shit. I've lived in several different residences, and I feel like I'm taking on responsibility for other people. I go to put my stuff out, and I just see so much that is not sorted correctly. And it's so easy. And I don't understand why other people seem to find it so hard. Especially when you're living in any kind of apartment building. I find that all the bins are labeled. Things are plainly laid out, but nobody really wants to take the time or responsibility to kind of do things right. And I find myself sorting other people's trash, and I'm kind of fed up with it. The other thing being that what we're doing is so minuscule. And so why am I even trying? The real culprits of waste and pollution are not home waste management. It's industrial. It's corporate. It's warehouses that have a garbage bin and a cardboard bin. And that's about it. You throw all your glass, all your metal, all your styrofoam, all your broken wood, all your plastic into one bin. Just garbage, just trash. And then for the clean cardboard, you recycle that because you can always use that for more boxes. It's the fact that we have entities and oil companies that just can't let go of this thing of fossil fuels, of coal, whatever, that we're running out. We're not going to see any more of it in the next few decades. Those reserves are going to dry up, and then what are you going to do? but other things that have been shining a light on how bleak eco-friendly and alternative energy is we are not perfect, far from it, from environmentally friendly solutions. Our laptops, our computers, our phones, our electric cars, the lithium-ion batteries that we use for all these things are dug up and refined in a hazardous and disgusting and bio-destructive way. And there's a lake of sludge and I don't even know how to describe it. It's a lake of our waste in Mongolia, where a lot of the minerals are mined, and it is a testimony that we just can't seem to find the right way to move forward and move past our pollution problem. This treadmill that we've been running on since the Industrial Revolution of just going nowhere, and everything around us is falling apart. My generation, I don't know if I speak for everyone, but seems to be the more defeated. Whereas the generation after me, the Zoomers, have a environmental champion in Greta Thunberg. And my hope is that she can actually rally real change, but quite honestly, I feel like I also haven't heard much. Or maybe that's the problem, is that the media doesn't care enough. And so how can everyone care if we don't even know what's going on, what progress we've made in this field? Because it's just not, it doesn't fit the narrative of what people want to see. So it's not covered. Sensationalism and journalism gets more views than environmentalism and eco movements. I was about to apologize for sounding so bleak, but I think that this is probably how a lot of these are going to go. Things just feel like they're spiraling. I wish I could afford an electric car, but I can't. And so the best thing I can do is actually keep driving the gas car I have, because it's more economical to keep the car you have running for a long time and to not get rid of it for it to end up in the dump. Any vehicle you keep on the road, whether it's gas or not, is a vehicle that isn't being manufactured and causing more waste, I guess. It's kind of the idea there. I wish I could enact any kind of political change, even locally, but I've watched that fail and crash and burn. The idea being that you start small. you make small, meaningful changes in your local community. But when those in charge of your community won't have it, it's definitely very frustrating. And there are so many good people who are trying to make these changes. But that's the thing, is I don't see the changes. I don't see the positive outcomes. Yeah, it just feels like we're going nowhere on that front. It's hard to rally back. It's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel right now. It kind of faded away for me in this past year. We saw the effects that COVID had environmentally vis-a-vis our lack of activity due to the lockdowns worldwide. We saw lakes and rivers cleaning themselves up a bit. We saw species kind of peering themselves out of the woodwork, that because we're not occupying those spaces outdoors and we're staying inside, animals have kind of come to see what's going on, and the environment looks like it's flourishing a little more. But we have those who feel that we need to get out of our caves, stimulate the economy, spend our money, yada yada. And it's nice in a way that things look like they might open up again, and on a personal level, it'll be nice to be able to see family more frequently and without fearing that you're a carrier for COVID and that you're going to get someone sick, and that could be a bad thing, because if you have family out there who's compromised or would not necessarily survive, it would just, I couldn't deal with it. It's too scary a thought. So I have been staying far away from those family because it's the right thing to do. And I'll leave the COVID specific topic for another time. But a mirror to that is when it comes to being environmentally friendly, it does feel like not everyone cares enough to do something just because it's inconvenient for them, even though it might be the right thing to do. And I feel that there are too many people out there that just feel like any effort to make in a positive direction for environmentalism is too inconvenient, and it'll cost too much money, it'll take up too much of their time, they don't want to have to think about it, they want to put it off and let someone else think about it. And you know what, like, it's kind of true. I shouldn't be worried about my garbage. The products that I buy shouldn't be garbage. Why are we still making garbage? Why are we still making toxic 1,000-year decomposing plastic? And it doesn't even decompose. That's not even the right word for it. It just takes that long to break down into a molecule that's small enough to be considered gone. But they're not gone. We've got giant plastic islands that could supply the world's plastic demand. And we're still adding to it, and we're still making more plastic. And we have plastic floating off this plastic island as microplastic, and it's toxifying the food chain, and it's getting into fish, and it's poisoning them, and I commend the people out there who are better than me, who are out there cleaning up plastic every day, but I just feel like I don't have the fight in me anymore. Sorry. This is a scam caller. Just more shitty things in life, you know? I hate scam callers. Where was I? Yes. The bleak narrative. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. Life feels hard. Life feels hard without having to worry about all these other things. And I feel like I'm just fighting to survive and make it on my own. And so how can I possibly fight for everyone else's well-being while I'm so caught up and busy with my own? And I realize it's selfish. I realize all of the things you could possibly say to me. If I personally, I truly believe that this will just be me talking to myself for small snippets. I'm pretty much, at least in the beginning, I imagine I'm going to be running out of things to say by the half-hour mark, and on all these topics. If I continue on, maybe I'll get better at this, and maybe it'll go longer, but I don't think that this is going to go anywhere. Just like I don't think that, the world's gonna go anywhere good either. I guess I should have put this part at the beginning, because I thought it'd be funny, and I thought about saying it. But this is just going to be me recording a lot of audio. I'm probably not going to put up any kind of video, even though I'm putting this ultimately on YouTube. But I thought that that's appropriate because YouTube, and maybe I'll talk about some aggravating YouTube drama. But this platform feels like it's headed into a brick wall itself, so I just felt it appropriate to post here too. But yeah, So this has been cathartic a little bit. Probably gonna still be very frustrated and not necessarily feel much better after this, but we'll see. I'll be posting this pretty soon. Alright, well, this is the Fatalist Millennial talking about the end of the world. Thanks for listening, if there really is anyone listening.